Hey guys, Man here, and today I wanted to talk to you about how I was able to save up and put a down payment on my first property at 22 as a creative, self-employed human being. I thought it would be a great idea to talk about how you could save up for your first down payment and also what lenders are actually looking for when you're ready to purchase a property. So before I get into the aspects of saving up for your first house, there's a couple of steps that you have to follow first. So first, you need a good credit score. You need a score of 740 or higher in order to get the best rates. If you have a credit score of 720 or less, you may end up getting charged more in interest, which is a no-no. If you get more interest, this means the deal could become more expensive and that could eat into your profit margin. Step 2 is to have 2 years of tax returns. Now, not all lenders require you to have 2 years of tax returns, but it really depends on your job and if you're a W-2 employee or 1099, or in my case, self-employed. The whole point of this for them is to make sure that your income has been consistent. They want to make sure that you didn't have an amazing year 2 years ago and then maybe this past year you made no money, had no jobs, no work, no friends, no lattes, no love. But this should be super helpful to you because if you are planning on purchasing real estate in the next 2 years, then you can start planning for it. What lenders look at is your net income after all your expenses. Just keep in mind that they don't add all your deductibles to your net income. So if you are planning on purchasing in the next 2 years, it may be a good idea to show as much income as you can. Step 3, bank statements. They're gonna wanna see at least 2 to 6 months of your bank statements. Again, they just wanna check where money is coming in and where it's going to. Like if they were to see a lot of money coming out of your account every day and being like Shrek's stuffed toys. The whole point is to track where money is coming in and where it's going to. Banks also do this to make sure that no one's randomly feeding you money every month, such as you being employed by your parents and having $10,000 a month in your bank account. The lender just wants to make sure that money is recurring and it's stable. This also goes to show that if you're earning $8,000 a month, you're not going out and spending $12,000. Okay, step 4 is cash reserves. The bank may want to possibly see 2 to 6 months of cash reserves in your savings account. This is to make sure that you don't just go and buy a property and have to foreclose on it the next month. Okay, now let's talk about how you can save up enough money for your first property. Because if you're gonna buy real estate, you're gonna have to put some money down. Banks like to see that you're risking your own money on the deal. Also, the initial money that you put down is going to be your equity in the property. So traditionally, people like to do 20% down on their first property, but there are options out there where you can pay between 3 to 15% on your down payment. So the down payment is supposed to act as a cushion for the bank that if in the event your property were to foreclose, that you would take that initial money that you put in as a loss. Now, if you were to put less than 20% down, there's a little something that's going to be added to your loan called PMI, Private Mortgage Insurance. This is a fee that the bank adds to your loan to ensure that you're not going to close on the property since you put less than 20% down. But having PMI on your loan doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. Unfortunately, it doesn't go towards your equity in the house, but you are able to pay it off if you can in full once you have a chance. If you've done your research and think that the market is going to grow, it may be worth it to jump into the deal than have to purchase something later. It could be a bit of a risk, but it's also worth it. So you can get rid of your PMI once you've paid down 20% of your loan, and then you're able to refinance the house and get rid of it. Despite putting 5% or 20% down on your first property, my saving strategies are the same. Some of you out there are like, well, my cousin's uncle's grandma's stepson was able to purchase with a FHA loan. And yes, that is possible, and that's actually what I was able to do with this property. If you do get accepted to do 3.5% down on a property, then go for it. Despite putting down 5% or 20% down on your first property, my saving strategies are the same. Okay, tip number 1, make saving a priority. You're gonna have to downscale on all your expenses and cut back from all those oat milk lavender lattes that you like to drink every day, which they taste incredible, but you have to cut back. The important thing is to consider your income in relation to your expenses. Again, this is why the banks want to see your statements. They want to see what you're making and where you're spending it. Anytime it comes to savings, the best and biggest thing you can do is to track all your finances. You gotta know what dollar signs are coming in and what dollar signs are going out. The best way people end up saving is finding those little tiny expenses that over time add up to a lot that you could have been saving. Trust me, you can find a whole bunch of cash that you can start saving once you start doing this. Okay, another tip is to automate your savings. This way the money is automatically deposited into your savings account and never touches touches your checking account. So for me, being self-employed, I deposit all my money into my business checking account, and at the end of the month, I put money into my personal checking and also my savings. I recommend this to everyone. Another thing that I've discovered is that banks don't want you to pay more than 44% of your net income on your mortgage. When it comes to saving, it's all about cutting back on all those things that you don't need as much as possible. This is how I was able to save up a bunch and put a down payment on my house. So I decided to live in my parents' house the first 3 years of college, and I stashed away all my income from my photography and videography business. The whole point is to live below your means so you're able to get the things that you want, which in this case is buying a house. Now, for the ones saying that I can't do it, I don't make enough money, I have too many expenses, I personally think that you can. So the first thing you need to do is to download an expense tracking app such as Mint. That is the app that I use to track all my expenses. You should be able to find things that you can cut back on. The other thing is that you just have to find more ways to earn more money, and there's no way to sugarcoat it. The truth is that you just have to sacrifice a lot. You have to increase your income as much as possible and then decrease your expenses as much as you can. It may be worth it to find a part-time job or side hustle, or maybe expand on a skill. If you do start to make money, make sure that you don't spend more, but to save the difference. I do believe that if you want it bad enough, that you'll find a way to make it happen. Now, as you're saving your money, should you just invest it in the stock market and maybe make an extra 8% on that amount? Well, it's hard to know because no one really knows what's going to happen with the market. Now, if you're investing in the stock market for the long run, maybe 10 plus years, then I would say yes, go ahead and do that. But anything that's 5 years or under, you just never really know. Patience, discipline, and consistency is worth it. Track your expenses, save as much as you can, delay gratification, and is it worth it? Guys, yes, it is so worth it. Thanks for watching again. If you enjoyed watching this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.